Hey, Shoreline, Washington. This is Realtor Emily Cressey giving you your monthly market update. So what is going on in the real estate market now that it is June? I can't believe summer is almost here. And we are coming to the end of our really strong selling season. Let's take a look at the data and see what is going on this spring and what we can expect for the future. So here is a graph of median home prices in different parts of town. So Shoreline is the green line right here. And we've also got Seattle, King County, and Lynnwood. Now you can see here is the January of 2025. A lot of the market was soft coming into that new year because of the election and the inauguration and everything. And then we had a bit of a bumpy ride this spring with word about tariffs, stock market changes, higher interest rates. So it has been a little bit of a rough go for us this spring, but we can still see in this area over here on this chart, we're looking at May data. It's June 2nd, so the MLS has just closed out its recent month of data. And this is showing us that in the Shoreline area, we had a 1.4% increase year over year from where we were last year. So if you bought a house for $100,000 last year, it would be now worth $101,400. So it's going up, but slowly. It's not the type of strong price increases that we like to see. However, for a season in which a lot of our other, countrymen in different states are having to really drop prices, this is always nice to see home prices going up in general. The Seattle market to the south of Shoreline, it was up 2.7%, and King County was 1.1%. So Shoreline is right in the middle there. And Lynnwood, our neighbor to the north, actually has had a 10% decline in home prices, which is somewhat alarming. And we'll try to dig into that as we look at some of the other data. But my guess on that is a combination of factors. Number one, we're probably selling more condos and townhomes there than we have in the past, with a lot of new construction going in due to the light rail opening in August last year. So that's been maybe a little bit of a change in the product type that would pull down the median home price, not necessarily the resale price. Also, we have looked at the interest rates, and to the extent that Lynnwood is a bit more of an affordability play, since it's a little farther out of town, it may be that it's a little bit harder for people to transact there. For example, I have had a lot more condo buyers this year, not as many single family home buyers as in past years. Again, I think indicating that there's a little bit more movement and flexibility at the affordable price points. People who are in more expensive homes maybe not moving as much. So let's take a look at some of the other data. We have new listings, which tells us how many people are bringing their home to market. And this is going quite high. We're up 11% in Shoreline, 23% in Seattle. So a lot of people are choosing to sell this year, more than did the year before. And this is the most that's been choosing to sell since the time of the pandemic. That last year in 2022, when prices were soaring and then interest rate changes brought them crashing down, we are back up to the normal range where we were during the pandemic. And let's see if we look at this in a 10-year history, we're still a little bit low. We have fewer homes being listed than we have in past years, over the past 10 years, but we're getting up much closer to that 12,000 mark in King County of where we have been historically. And I would only expect this to continue to increase as we have more people living in the area. The city of Seattle, the city planner came to our office and said that they were having a goal of 80,000 more housing units in the Seattle area, focusing on middle housing, which is something less than a single family home. It could be a cottage, an ADU, a condominium, something that a townhouse allows a single family, or it's an individual home, but it may be attached or have a smaller lot than what we historically have thought of as a single family home. So anyway, we should continue to see number of units for sale rise in the future. And as far as homes for sale, this kind of indicates how many are getting snapped up versus how many are staying on the market. So when they're getting snapped up as fast as they're listed, look at this. During the COVID time, we had very little inventory because everything was just selling the minute it hit the market. Then when they increased interest rates, we had a lot of stuff sitting on the market, right? Everything was priced too high because interest rates doubled in 6 months. So then we've had lower amounts, people not wanting to sell, kind of that golden handcuffs experience of just staying put in their home. And now I think with more listings coming onto the market this year, we're seeing a little bit more selection out there, more standing inventory, more homes for buyers to go and look at, which is really nice for buyers. You finally have a sense of selection and more homes to choose from. Are they still selling quickly? Yes, we don't need to look at all 10 years. Let's zoom this back in. So right here, we are showing days on market. Lynnwood is a little slower at 8 days on market, but Shoreline is looking at 6. And typically 5 or 6 days on market is very common, especially when we are using an offer review date where we say we're going to list the home on Thursday. Everybody can look at it over the weekend. We're not accepting any weekend offers. And then come Monday or Tuesday, everybody can send our offer in. And hopefully we'll have more than one to look at and create a little bit of a competitive bidding experience for the buyers. So when the market allows sellers to do that, it's very common to see 5 or 6 days on market, and 7 just indicates, maybe they're not doing that, or maybe it doesn't sell on the review date, but it sells shortly thereafter. How much does it sell for? Are they having to drop prices? Nope. It looks like for the most part, we are holding really steady, selling for full price within that week days on market, 1 week, 7 days. So that tells us that stuff is still flying off the shelves. Now we can look at averages, which might reveal a little bit of a different story. So average is, Shoreline is selling 101, 102% of list price. So that indicates that some homes at least are getting bid up, having multiple offers, selling for above asking price. And then days on market, if we look at average there, it's a little bit longer, closer to 24, 25. So even though more than half of the homes are selling within a week, some homes are sitting on the market for a longer and longer period of time, which really stretches out those averages. Oops. And then here we have our number of showings before we have a pending contract. So this just tells us how many people or groups are coming through the home, typically about 10. And so what I tell clients when they list their home is that we should have 10 people through the home in the first 10 days, and then we should have an offer in hand. If we do not have an offer in hand after that period of time, it may be worth looking at the listing and looking at the feedback and seeing if there's something that we can fix. If you've been on the market for 3 weeks, you've not had 10 people through the house, that's a serious concern. If you've been on the market and had 20 people through the house, but nobody made an offer, that's a serious concern as well. So as a very data-oriented real estate agent, I really like you to drill down into feedback and incorporating that feedback as quickly as possible, so we're not racking up days on market in this very fast-moving market. That is not your friend. Typically, the longer days on market you have, the lower you end up selling the house for. So this is a good look at Shoreline. It also shows us a little bit of what's going on in Lynnwood. And remember, this is a blend of houses, townhouses, condominiums, everything. And as our market makeup changes, that can also affect average home sale prices and those types of things. So I'll do another look at condo prices on another video. If you have a condominium and you're curious about what to expect with those prices, we'll take a look, and it's a little bit different than single family homes. All right, thanks so much for joining me. This is Realtor Emily Cressey. You can visit me at HomePro Associates with an S.com, and I will see you on the next video.